What's good, y'all? I've got some really nice buffs and changes for Totem and Alolan Marowak. If you are new here, there's a lot of crazy stuff on screen that you probably have no idea what it does or what it's about or why I did it or anything like that. So first of all, listen to the whole video. It's probably not that long. Second of all, if you are a new viewer, I highly recommend you check out that Google Sheet. It's linked right down below in the description. You can check out all the other Pokemon buffs and changes. And most importantly, if you go to the Google Sheet, excuse me, and you see these tabs right here on the bottom, it says search all moves here. Jesus, I'm like burping a lot. You can check out all 600 plus, Jesus, move buffs and changes. I cannot talk over the burps. Yeah, and these are really important to understand how the Pokemon are going to function now. So I highly, highly, highly encourage you to give these a look. I put a lot of work and effort into making it easily readable and consumable and organized. So yeah, and it also, again, really impacts the way that the Pokemon are going to function. With that being said, you might be looking at this and wondering, why the hell did I even bother making Totem Marowak a mixed attacker? If you're new here, all of the Totem Pokemon have more HP, and typically, well, they all have more HP, and they have a different ability. One of their two abilities is different than the base form. Typically, they also have, slightly stronger attack and special attack in some cases. And Totem Marowak's case, not only is he bulkier, and not only does he have Lightning Rod over Headstrong, he also has really cool mixed attacking options. You might be thinking, yeah, but with Thick Club, Base CD attack completely dwarves base 105 special attack, and you'd be right. However, the main allure of special Totem Marowak comes in several different nuances. First of all, I'll talk about the most obvious ones. Fiery Dance. Fiery Dance now gives you Fiery Dance always boosts special attack, right? So instead of 50%, it's 100%. So that's insane. That alone, Scarf, Fiery Dance, like that can clean up so many boss fights, especially because you also resist first impression. So you're not scared out by like one of the most common priority moves in the game. Speaking of, that is Technician boosted now. It's 60 base power, 60 base power, but it always crits, so it's 135 base power. In terms of other Technician options, you have Bone Rush, which is priority, 50 base power, single use. Like one hit move coming from Cubone, and then you also have a bunch of other little things, but the most important ones are the priority moves and Flame Wheel. So you have Shadow Sneak and Pyro Dash, and also on the special side, Spook and Ignite for priority, which is Technician boosted up to 67.5 or 75 base power, depending on which one you're using. And then Flame Wheel, very late game because of how strong it is on him, but it is very good. Flame Wheel is 60 base power, and it gives you +1 speed, so that's pretty crazy on how bulky and strong Totem Marowak and Alolan Marowak are, and it's Technician boosted. It's very, very, very strong, so that's a good option. It's a great option for Totem Marowak. However, you don't have stab on Boomerang, which is a bit of a shame. It's still an incredible coverage move. It is 60 base power, 100% accurate, hits twice, so that's still a 180 base power ground type drawback for your move. So it's not like it's bad or anything, but I just want people to not think that Alolan Marowak is still better than Cantonian, because it's not. Cantonian, if you are new here and you don't know what it is now a ground and fighting type, which makes it a lot more equal in terms of like stab combo to Totem. And Alolan Marowak, I keep saying Totem first, I don't know why, but yeah, that's I'm kind of jumping all over the place because there's a lot to cover in this video, but yeah, that's the first nuance of the special attacking Totem Marowak is Fiery Dance. That alone makes it very worth using. The main downside of using Totem Marowak is that if you're doing a Team Locked Nuzlocke, which is partially by design, hardcore Nuzlocks are definitely intended, at least for experienced players. Of course, if you're a casual player, don't worry about that, but if you're an experienced player, I highly recommend doing a Nuzlocke of the hack. It's going to be balanced with that in mind. But for Team Locked Nuzlocks, it basically means you can't deposit your Pokemon whenever you want. You can only deposit them if they die, and that doesn't mean sack your Pokemon whenever you want. That means like come up with a strategy to beat the boss fight given what you have, which is very easy to do in a hack like this where every single Pokemon can do so many different things. You have an infinite usability capsule, you have infinite EV training items, you have all of these TMs and tutor options. So you can really be creative and clever with the way that you all of these moves and items and moves and stuff. Like there's so many options, which is partially by design, entirely by design rather. So in a Team Locked Nuzlocke, you wouldn't be able to deposit your Cubone and wait until Mally City, which is when you get the first strange souvenir. It's no longer purchasable. So that's a gift item in Mally City. So you would have to wait. So for example, level 28 is right before Totem Lurantis. You'd have to wait for Totem Lurantis, Plumeria, and Olivia, and How in Mally City. All of those boss fights, you're going to have to use Cubone for in a Team Locked Nuzlocke, which is like not undoable, but it's pretty unrealistic in a lot of cases. So not the best idea. You'd probably just want to evolve right away into either Cantonian or Alolan Marowak. But if you have it in your PC, then Totem Marowak is a genuine option. Not only is it pretty significantly bulkier, 80 HP versus 65, it also has that special attacking option. It's not forced. You can still run physical sets. You do lose Headstrong, which again, like I said earlier, prevents recoil for a bunch of different moves. Play Rough, Wild Charge, Rock Climb, and Takedown are all TMs, 110 base power coverage options that are recoil-free moves with Headstrong. And then, of course, those are Fairy, Electric, Rock, and Fighting coverage. And then you have Flare Blitz and Overheat on the special side, although Overheat, I actually put that there only for Totem Marowak with Headstrong, but last minute I changed it back to Technician because Technician is like kind of just better for Totem over Headstrong. Headstrong is nice as an option, but I'd say Technician is still your main ability because of the fact that you're not guaranteed a plus speed nature or max speed IVs, and you can't run Choice Scarf because you have to hold Pick Club on the physical sets. You can't use like Scarf, Headstrong plus Flare Blitz, you know, so your speed is pretty middling. You're not going to outspeed too many things, which is why it's nice to have speed boosting options. Another really good thing that special Totem Marowak can do is Lunar Dance. Lunar Dance functions like Quiver Dance used to, so Quiver Dance now is special Dragon Dance, and then Lunar Dance gives you that special defense as well as the, you know, special attack and speed, and that's insane for Ghost and Fire type that has this type of stat distribution. It easily tanks first impressions and other common priority attacks, so it's a really good sweeper in that regard. You can use that in conjunction with Fiery Dance. Lunar Dance plus Fiery Dance, and he just goes crazy. Fiery Dance has very limited distribution. It's only Volcarona, Totem Marowak, and Alolan Marowak rather, and there's one more. I believe Infernape, and then maybe like one other I might add it to eventually, but for now it's just and Oricorio as well. And it's a great move. Obviously, it's 80 base power, it's basically Torch Song, right? So that's pretty crazy. Yeah, and then you can use a Choice Scarf with that, is my point. So the special sets also are highly benefited from the fact that they can just hold an item. And of course, Lightning Rod is also a great ability. Not only do you get a special attack boost when you switch in, it's also a really nice electric immunity. Ghost Fire with that electric immunity is a really good utility for a lot of boss fights, especially Totem Togedemaru gets probably cooked by Lightning Rod, Totem Marowak. Maybe not solos, but it's one of the probably like top 10 best Pokemon you could have for it because of that type combination and the power in conjunction with that Lightning Rod to make it immune to electric, and on top of resisting steel and the common coverage moves that they'll be using. So yeah, don't sleep on Totem Marowak. I know Alolan Marowak with the Unga Bunga Headstrong is tempting, but it's actually not that good. This isn't competitive battling where you're clicking Flare Blitz on a grass type and they switch out into their water, their fire resist, and they take 50% because it's such a strong move, or Blazing Assault rather, 150 base power. It's overkill in game. You're clicking a button to kill whatever's in front of you. You're not clicking a button to catch something on the switch, unless they use a switch option, a switch move, which most Pokemon in this game have. In this case, you have Volt Switch, U-turn, and Parting Shot. So that's awesome for Totem Marowak. Again, he has great coverage on both physical and special sides of the spectrum. Technician is really powerful with those priority spam, as well as multi-hit moves like Comet Punch, Pummel, and Rock Blast for coverage. Those are all essentially very fighting and rock type versions of Bullet Seed, so those are really cool with Technician. Boomerang I already covered is great with Technician. On the special side, you also have you have all types of Technician options, right? You've got Bulldoze and Rock Tomb. You've got Ominous Wind, which drops attack and special attack by 1. That's really nice for special Totem Marowak with Technician. Of course, Revelation Dance is also a nice special ghost option. It's stronger than Shadow Ball by 5 points, and it has a 50% chance to give you a special attack boost, so that's pretty strong. I like all the dancing moves on Marowak because, his whole thing is like he's this fire dancer guy, so I think it's really cool that he gets Lunar Dance, and also he's a ghost type, and normally he evolves only at nighttime, I believe. That's in vanilla. He only evolves at nighttime. Yeah, so that's why I gave him Moonblast and Moonlight, and actually I removed Moonblast because it was wasted. I didn't have the room for it, but you also have Dazzling Gleam, so it's not a big deal. Overall, though, Totem Marowak and Alolan Marowak are both sick. Obviously, you're still going to be using Alolan Marowak more often than Totem if you're doing a Team Lock and Nuzlocke and you had a Cubone on your team. But if you didn't add it yet and you're at Valley City, or you're past Valley City, then you can go ahead and pick between the two. And of course, if you got a plus speed nature, max speed IVs, then you can justify that Alolan, the Headstrong is actually more useful, but even then I would still prefer Totem just for the extra bulk and the Lightning Rod utility, and then your main ability is Technician. That's just my personal opinion. I don't think Headstrong is too great on him because he's not that bulky, the base form. His HP is relatively poor. He's bulky in the physical side, but specially he's mediocre. My main issue here is that Headstrong can't hold an item. That's why I'm kind of hating on it. Headstrong can't hold an item at all. You need to hold Thick Club. So you can't run Assault Vest to make yourself bulkier. You can't run a super effective Weakening Berry to take a specific hit and kill something. You can't run Choice Scarf to be faster. You can't run a Quick Claw, single use Quick Claw. It's just very limiting. So that's why I don't think Headstrong is too great on them. But it's very fitting flavor-wise, and it was kind of hard to pick a secondary ability that was as good as a Technician anyways. So I think Headstrong is still cool. And it's also very good for the AI to use anyways, because the AI, you're switching against the AI. So you know, you switch into a 150 base power Blazing Assault and it takes 0% recoil. Now that's a scary Pokemon in front of you. Headlong Rush, Head Smash, etc. But for you, it's overkill, is my point. So I think a lot of people are going to gravitate towards the big damage buttons and kind of shoot themselves in the feet by not really like grasping that sometimes it's not necessary, especially in a case where you're already so strong. You're already really strong with the club, so you don't need the power boost from the strong moves. But it's still nice. It's still a good option. It's still very, good Pokemon with Headstrong, Technician, beautiful ability for them. Great move pool. Overall, they're just the GOAT. I love both of them. Honestly, it would be really hard to pick. I would only pick depending on my personal team at the time and my other teammates and my Ivies in nature. For example, if I got like a modest one or a plus special attack, I'm obviously going to go with the Totem form. But as for Cantonian, Marowak, and Alolan, hard choice. I like them both a lot. Yeah, I'm gonna leave the video off there. Thank you so much for listening. I could touch on a few more nuances really quickly. I will actually, like Mind Reader. Z Mind Reader gives you +3 special attack, and you can use Inferno and Infernal Parade, which will always burn, and those are 130 base power. So those are really cool with Mind Reader, Z Mind Reader specifically. Yeah, I think I'm gonna leave it off there. But Flame Wheel is incredible. Belly Drum with Shadow Sneak and Pyro Dash is huge. Overall, very good buffs and changes overall for both of them. Kind of repeating myself a bit. So yeah, thank you so much for listening, and I'll be back for more buffs and changes coming up. Peace, y'all.